let me share with you this ridiculous article from the Washington Post. Something strange is going on with Republicans. Take Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. He was rock solid anti-abortion bona fides. He's a pro-life guy. Last year, when Texas was on the verge of defunding Planned Parenthood, he tweeted, "In Texas, we respect the sanctity of life." Yet last week, urging his state to reopen after being shut down because of a coronavirus stay-at-home order, he said, "There are more important things than living." Now, I don't think that's great phrasing, because the governor of New York is right. Death is the worst thing, and living is the best thing. So I don't think it was a careful phrasing that helped people to understand what we've been talking about now for a half an hour or more. But there are things that you weigh and that you consider. But do you see the problem with this reporter? It's David Cohen and Mary Ziegler of the Washington Post. What are they missing in this, despite the way the governor phrased it? Let me give you another one. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin. In 2016, he praised the anti-abortion March for Life for continuing despite bad weather because of how important it was for people to show that all Americans have a right to life. But a month ago, he said it was unwise to shutter the economy when only between 1 and 3.4% of the population who gets coronavirus will die. Now, again, those statements, whether they're in context or not, I understand why people bristle against them. But what are these two authors missing in this? It's really quite simple. Two things. One, the easy one. There's a difference between a contagious virus that's indiscriminate when it goes about the business of getting into people's lungs versus a doctor going into a woman's uterus to remove the baby that is inside of the womb. In other words, there's a difference between a virus and murder. Simple as that, y'all. But there's the other underlying problem here is they can't imagine that any death is acceptable. That's what they are revealing here. No death. Can't have any death. So, you people who say that you're pro-life, you don't want death, but you're willing to let people die because of a virus. They can't put it together. They can't figure this out. And I haven't heard anybody explain it in any reasonable way that might cause them to go, oh, okay, I see. You mean we've been doing that all along? Because we have been using things like cars, haven't we? You get into a car, you accept some risk. I'm not sure they're grasping that, though. I think the foundational understanding needs to be there must be some calculated risk. You cannot eliminate it all. Otherwise, we can't live. These people write, the dichotomy is striking. Not really, when you remember there's a difference between a pandemic and the intentional taking of an innocent human being, which, by the way, Joe Biden, as an aside, claims that abortion is an essential health care service during a woman's town hall event. Quote, we need to ensure, by the way, they thought he was reading this, we need to ensure that women have access to all health services during this crisis. Abortion is an essential health care service. It's being used as a political wedge right now, and it shouldn't be. The American College, clearly he was reading this, the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists and the American Medical Association agree it shouldn't be categorized as a procedure that can be delayed. It can't. And in this case, healthcare delayed means healthcare denied. States should not be using public health crises to infringe on a woman's constitutional rights. I'm going to have to go read that again. I don't remember that being in there. Nevertheless, he is leading a political party, and while there's an effort these days in evangelicalism to say, it doesn't matter, let's stop fighting, it's just about the gospel, daddy-o. So if you know somebody who's going to vote for a pro-abort, don't worry about it. You believe in Jesus, right? So just chill on it. I say, we care for lives, all lives, as we go about the business of weighing the issue, because we recognize because of the fall that there are mitigated and calculated risks. Until tomorrow, go serve your king.
Hey. times.
Sweet.
Take her around the block a few times.
Who's a good girl? You're not, because nobody does good. No, not one. Romans 5 says we're born in sin and iniquity, and our hearts are deceitful and wicked. You know that if you'd use the law which brings about the knowledge of sin.